Good morning, friends. Myself, Dr. Nidhi Darbari, on My Education Treasure, and today I am going to explain about philosophy and education. Philosophy. The word philosophy comes from a combination of two Greek words, philos meaning love and sophi meaning wisdom. Etymologically, philosophy means the love of wisdom. To love something is to desire it. So, for many Greeks, the philosopher was the one who desired wisdom. Wisdom is not only knowledge. One may have knowledge, but he may not be wise. Wisdom constitutes knowledge plus its implication in all circumstances. Thus, philosophy gives man that wisdom with the help of which they understand the whole universe and its implication in relation to themselves and the people around. Hence, philosophers could also be characterized as the friend of wisdom. In this regard, Plato, in his Republic, stated that he who has a taste for every sort of knowledge and who is curious to learn and is never satisfied may be termed philosopher. It means a philosopher is interested in all type of knowledge, whereas a physicist in physical process of universe, an historian in the past events, a geographer in the natural conditions of the universe, a biologist in the biological process, etc. But a philosopher has a multi-dimensional outlook and interest. The philosopher is thoughtful, remains in a thoughtful mood, being in search of new ideas, new knowledge with the help of his growing wisdom. Philosophers are interested in the first principles and the final conclusion of all branches of knowledge. Philosophers come under different philosophical school of thought such as idealist, naturalist, pragmatist, existentialist, perennialist, realist, essentialist, progressivist, etc., according to their approach to answer the philosophical inquiry. Education is the dynamic side of philosophy. Education can be defined as the strongest instrument for the achievement of the ideals of life and civilized attempt to bring about the balanced and proper development of human personality. The plant of education draws its nourishment from the soil of philosophy. Philosophy is the theory of education, while education is the practical thereof. Education is the best means for the propagation of philosophy. Education cannot even be imagined without philosophical principles. Likewise, the philosophical principles are lifeless without the help of education. Example, the introduction of the 10 plus 2 plus 3 system of education and craft education are the consequences of philosophical views. Thus, philosophy equips us with thoughts, and these thoughts are put into practice by education. Significance of philosophy on education. To understand the relationship between education and philosophy, it would be better to understand in detail the relationship between the two disciplines in view of the major aspects of education, that is, aims of education, curriculum, methods of teaching, and relationship between teachers and students. If you found the video to be informative and interesting, I request you all to please give a like to the video to motivate me, share it for others and subscribe it so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get a notification. Philosophy affects the aims of education. Philosophy determines the aims of education. It is the philosophy of the time which determines whether the aims of education should be moral, vocational, intellectual, spiritual, or liberal. Rusk therefore says every system of education must have an aim, and the aims of education are related to the aims of life. Philosophy formulates what should be the end of life, while education offers suggestions how this end is to be achieved. We all know that education is an objective and purposeful activity. Again, aims of life are the creation of philosophy of a certain time. It is therefore aims of education are determined by philosophy. It is therefore aims of education never go beyond the philosophy of one's life. Thus, when aims of life changes, aims of education also change accordingly. As an example, when aim of our life is to arrange for livelihood and to exist in the society, so as the aim of education sets to meet those needs, and accordingly education prepares the individuals skilled to engage themselves in the world of work and to earn for their livelihood. It is therefore philosophers and educationists in different periods have concerned about the aim of life, and accordingly aim of education have been implemented. Now you might be correlating it with aim of life and aim of education practiced in earlier times, that is during the ancient and medieval period, and also in the present modern period. Development of science and technology in the modern period has not happened automatically, rather, it is the reflection of the aims of life and education of the individual at the present time. Further, the aims of education in various schools of philosophy, such as idealism, naturalism, pragmatism, realism, etc., are different, as the philosophical principles of school of thought are different. Philosophy and teachers. In the widest sense, every person has a philosophy of life, and in the same way, every educator has a philosophy of education. What a teacher really and truly believes shows itself in his actions and in his attitude towards life. When he is really earnest about his belief, he will not keep them to himself but will do all in his power to persuade others. This is the mainspring of all missionary efforts. Textbook. The choice of textbook also involves philosophy. The textbook must cater to the needs of an ideal life, so it is indisputably a fact that philosophy has its role in the choice of textbook. Philosophy determines the choice of studies or curriculum. When aims are set, the next step is to find means to achieve those aims. Curriculum is the means through which educator realizes his goal. Developing school curriculum is one of the most important component in an education system. School curriculum links students' life with the content and courses transacted in the curriculum, which has a direct link with our community expectations and societal practices. Hence, philosophy too decides why a particular subject should be included in the curriculum. The philosophy of a country society is reflected in the curriculum, and accordingly school activities and experiences are designed. As an example, if the philosophy of a country is to spread democratic attitude among the people, that could be done by incorporating democratic principles in the school curriculum. The concept of linkage between philosophy and curriculum may be elaborated by giving many more examples. Moreover, if the philosophy of a country is to make its nation self-reliant by engaging them in the world of work, then the aim of education would be to develop and implement craft and skill-based education system in the country or society by incorporating it in the school curriculum. For example, if the major goal of a country is to transmit and preserve the cultural heritage, so the school curriculum would be designed in such a way to develop a sense of cultural awareness among the students by including it, and also by organizing seminars, activities, workshop on the culture of the country. If the philosophy of the country is to develop science and technology, so the aims of education and curriculum should be based upon developing scientific temper among the students by incorporating inquiry and project based knowledge in the curriculum, and further scope may be given to the students to study and acquire skills in these areas. The pragmatic school of philosophy discusses the methods of the value of empirical knowledge, so they give importance to those teaching methods in which there is active involvement of sense organs rather than giving importance to innate ideas. On the other hand, rationalist thinkers have emphasized knowledge is innate and it develops only through rational thinking. David Hume rightly pointed out that certainty can be made possible only in mathematics and not in the field of science, while critical philosophers advocate that knowledge is neither a priori nor a posteriori, so they believe in all experimental and scientific knowledge and set curriculums according to their understanding of knowledge. Philosophy and the choice of method. Philosophy is closely related to methods of teaching. Aims of education are subject to the philosophy of life. Methods are means through which goals of education can be realized. There are many instances in which philosophical principles have influenced method. Idealist school of thought suggests traditional method such as lecture method as an ideal method of study. For the idealist, the school is a garden and a teacher a gardener whose main function is to tend the little human plants under his charge very carefully and thus help to grow to beauty and perfection. They give importance to teacher-centered methods. The pragmatic school of philosophy provides democratic freedom to learners for their study and implement child-centered methods like activity, project method, and problem solving for teaching. The naturalist school of thought believes in laissez-faire concept of freedom for the learners and thus gives importance to self-study method and role of a teacher as a facilitator and guide. Naturalists advocate learning by doing. Relationship between teachers and learners. Education system requires a relationship between teachers and learners. A teacher is not a content expert only, but in a true sense a philosopher. A teacher directly influences the learners. This is quite natural that the personality of learners is influenced by the personality of the teachers. When we talk about the teacher-student relationship as per the schools of philosophy like idealism, naturalism, pragmatism, we find that idealist teachers try to impose a strict discipline upon the learners, and teachers play a dominating role in teaching as well as forming behavior of the learners. On the contrary, the naturalist teachers provide ample freedom to the students and they work as a guide and facilitator for the students. They consider that it is the learner who has ample experiences to constitute their own knowledge. Again, the pragmatic teacher provides new and innovative opportunities to their students to create something creative and innovative which is different from the traditional approach of understanding the things. Pragmatist teachers believe that change is the ultimate reality and their every action directed towards to achieve the change, and accordingly they constitute behavior of the learners. Philosophy determines the type of discipline to be maintained. The child is humanized by the social environment. The business of the teacher is the maintenance of the discipline and to tell the students about the social norms. Philosophy determines the nature and form of discipline. Whether school discipline should be strict and rigid or flexible and free is a philosophical problem. The above discussion clarifies that the nature of relationship between the teachers learners are dependent on the philosophical principles that they follow. It is therefore said that philosophy has a close linkage to maintain a harmonious relationship between the teachers and the learners. Autocratic, democratic, and laissez-faire behavioral patterns of teachers are not spontaneous, rather are the reflection of practice of that particular educational philosophy in teaching and to help the learners to shape their behavior. In a nutshell, it may be concluded that all forms of philosophy help in determining the nature and forms of education. Epistemology, metaphysics, and ethics, etc., all play their part in devising educational programs and as per the aims of education. If philosophy is viewed as utopian, then it performs its classical function by promoting a reconstruction of social and educational order in conformity to the tenets of some great truth. If philosophy is viewed as ideological, then it serves as a verbal battleground between the expressed to the rationalization of vested interest. In both the cases, philosophy acts as an agent for the survival of culture. Education, on the other side, is also an agency of ensuring the enculturization of the upcoming generation studying in the schools. Thank you very much for patiently watching the video and don't forget to subscribe.